Maybe people in the past have told you that confrontation is evil, bad, Machiavellian, whatever it is. Well, I'm here to tell you the truth. The more you run away from confrontation, the more it'll come and grab you by the tail.
You can attach meaning to your life, but that meaning is yours and yours alone. It's not objective. It's not an absolute.
So the fear of confrontation, why do we have it? Well, it's because we're afraid of the repercussions of such confrontation, of the social consequences of carrying through. You're afraid that it might end the relationship, end the friendship, and the business relationship that you have with that person. Or maybe you're afraid of losing face. You're afraid that you'll blow up on them, that it'll be social consequences, that you'll look completely insane to other people. People will just look at you like, what the fuck? What the fuck did he blow up on me like that? You're afraid that your delivery won't be correct, that you'll offend the other person, that you'll hurt the other person, and in return hurt yourself, right? Maybe the consequences are not even social, maybe they're actually monetary. You're afraid to lose your job. Where does the fear of confrontation come from? It can come from various sources, but the major reason why is because, in our childhood, if we confronted our parents about something, there would often be repercussions, consequences. You want to go out later than 9 p.m. and then your parents tell you, well, you can't do this, right? And then they shame you, they point a finger at you, they call you names or whatever. From your childhood, you learn that confrontation equals a possibility of abandonment. And if I'm abandoned, then I'll be without love and I'll die. So we've learned from this pattern of behavior that confrontation is bad. So then we go into the workforce and we replicate this dynamic where we avoid all confrontation with people. We avoid all negative interactions that could lead to consequences. It puts a glass ceiling of your attainment of success, because anytime you want to attain success and there's obstacles, you keep bumping into those obstacles, never confronting them, right? Social obstacles. And if you refuse to confront that obstacle, then you're just going to bump your head over and over again. So why should you confront them? Well, why not? As I said earlier, the more you run away from confrontation, the more it'll find you anyways. So if you don't confront them, resentment will build. And this resentment will be channeled in different ways. One of them is passive aggression, and this can become an issue because then you're not really telling how you feel, and this resentment builds and builds and builds to the point where you'll eventually explode at some point, all of a sudden. So that could be a consequence. If you let it bottle up, your confrontation will not be artful, it will not be controlled. There's an art to confrontation. If you want to confront the person correctly, you should do it correctly. Isn't it better to stand up for yourself than live in a lie? Why would you keep lying to yourself that everything is okay with that person? Why would you keep lying to yourself and lying to them that everything is okay? Because anytime you lie to yourself, you lower your self-esteem, you lower your sense of integrity, you don't honor truth in your life. And if you follow this channel, you should honor truth. If you value truth, you should value telling the person the truth. So the point of confrontation is not to hurt them, it's to restore the truth in that dynamic, in that relationship. Would you rather stand up and still fall flat on your face, becomes messy and everything, but at least you stood up for yourself? Or continue to live in a lie, live in misery, and you don't know why. And you don't know why you're feeling miserable, depressed, used, whatever how you feel. That one thing that they keep doing that keeps annoying the shit out of you, and you let them do it, right? You let yourself get walked all over. What's better? I'd much rather stand up for myself. It's just a matter of integrity. It's a matter of valuing yourself. So what are the benefits of confrontation? You get a higher social intelligence. You're more able to navigate hard social situations where you need more negotiation power, more social maneuverability, if you're able to navigate those hard social situations, then normal social situations won't be as hard. You'll have a higher tolerance to stress. Whenever negative things are happening to you or obstacles that are exerted from the external world, you'll be able to stand up for yourself. You'll be able to state your opinions, state the facts, state what is the problem. You learn yourself to keep focusing on the truth. And the more aligned you are with reality, the easier it'll be to do self-development, and the better your self-development will be. Also, you'll be a better listener overall. To deal with the confrontation, you also have to listen to them. So you learn better conversational skills, more peacemaking skills. So how do you overcome the fear of confrontation? Step 1, ask yourself, what am I afraid of? In detail. Grab a piece of paper and a pen and write down exactly the worst case scenario. What is the worst thing that can happen if I confront them? It could be, oh well, my friend will be temporarily very mad at me for the next day or two, or my family will be very pissed off for the next few days or two. Or even if the worst case scenario is that you lose your job, you lose that client, just write it down. Okay, well, worst case scenario, I'm gonna have this happen. Even if you think that you're gonna lose your family, whatever, okay, write it down. Whatever it is that you think is the worst case scenario, write it down. I can reassure you that whatever worst case scenario that you wrote down, it is most probably not as bad as that worst case scenario. Probably it's not as bad as you think. After you wrote down the worst case scenario, write the best case scenario. What's the best thing that could happen from that? It could be that you guys are reunited, that you live in accordance to truth, and you align the truth to them. So you told them, hey, I didn't like when you did this and this and that, but hey, now we know that this is cleared up, so now we can just, there's no more tension between you and me. Now we know that it's all resolved. It's all resolved, right? Really important. What consequences are you afraid of? Is it rejection? Losing your loved one? Losing a relationship? Losing your house? Losing whatever it is you're gonna lose? Write it down. 99% of the time, losing this whatever thing is less important than standing up for yourself and living in integrity. Most confrontation, the little confrontations, let's say with a friend, with a family member, of let's say, hey, you forgot to do the dishes and I didn't really like that, could you please do it next time? What are the consequences of that? Not very much. Step number 2, remove any feelings of guilt or shame that you might have about confronting that person. So maybe you might be thinking like, oh well, if I do that, it's evil. People are not gonna like it, people are gonna hate it, people are gonna think I'm evil, I'll be a bad person if I confront them. I'm gonna hurt them, I'm gonna hurt the friendship, I'm gonna hurt the relationship. I want you to remove any feelings of guilt or shame that you might have about that. And after you've removed those feelings and emotions, then it'll be easier to carry you through. Never feel guilty for standing up for yourself. Never feel guilty for expressing your truth and honest opinion when it really matters, right? Never feel guilty for living in accordance to who you truly are. And anyone who points the finger at you and tells you this is bad, that you're standing up for yourself, they're horrible people and you should not listen to them. So always keep that in mind when you have to confront someone. So look, for confrontation, try to find a way that hurts the other person the least possible, right? The thing that is least likely to hurt them, but that is still true. Let's say they borrowed your toolbox and they didn't give it back to you in like 2 months, and then you tell them, well, I didn't really appreciate you keeping that toolbox for a long time. Could you please don't do that again, or I'm not sure I'll lend you my toolbox again. Just find a way that hurts them the least, right? It's better to say that than, let's say, to say, well, fuck you, like, this is my toolbox, fuck you, right? That's not gonna solve anything. So, and the last step, practice confrontation. That's how you get over it. Practice with little things. For example, if the Starbucks person did not give you the right size of the cup, did not put enough sugar, or the coffee is cold, or whatever it is, just tell them, hey, excuse me, my coffee is a little cold. Do you mind giving me something a little more fresh? And, you know, something like that. And it's very easy, it's very simple, but I know that some of you guys, like, because I've seen it with friends of mine that, let's say they ordered something and there's a mistake in that order, but it's a little mistake, right? It's like 10% off or whatever, like it's 10% more expensive or whatever thing. And they're like, oh, it's just whatever, it's just 10%, and they just let it slide, right? And, you know, it's not about the money itself or the product. It's just about integrity and standing for yourself, because that is important. Do you deserve respect? And then build your way up like this. Like anything that should be a certain way, but that they're not actually doing it, just tell them like, hey, listen, could you please do this? Through the art of confrontation, you will learn. So for example, for me, someone asked me on YouTube if they could use some of my videos. One video of mine, they have a drum and bass type of song and they want to add a bit of my shroom strip video in the video. And I told them, yes, you can do it, but please give me credits. Give credits to my channel. So then they did the video, and I guess I'll put a link down there. And there's a problem there because he barely credited me. He put, you know, his brand, his channel name, and then like in the description is like a bunch of links to subscribe to him and all his SoundCloud page or whatever. And at the very bottom, it just says subscribe, and then like just a link, and it doesn't even say my channel name. It doesn't even say who edited the video. It didn't even say anything. So then he gets a few thousand views and a lot of people that comment that say, oh, great editing, whatever it is. And they think that he edited the entire thing. So I'm like, okay, well, you can't do that. So I messaged the guy and, you know, confrontationally, I just told him like, not in a hurtful or antagonistic way, but just, you know, like nice. I just told him like, hey, could you please put a comment on your video and pin it and say my channel name and a subscription link. And then he replied, well, I already quoted you in the description, right? Then I could have stopped there and be like, oh, well, you know, anyways, he did quote me anyways. But I continued further. I confront him further. I tell him, no, like my name is barely visible. It's basically, my channel is basically invisible there. Could you please just pin a comment, put a comment with my link? It's not too much asked. Please do that. And I hope it's not too much asked. And he just did it. So, you know, doing little confrontations like this, it's not that big of a deal. The more you practice, the better you'll get at it. And that's how you overcome the fear of confrontation. So thank you for watching, bitches. I procrastinated those videos for so long. Sorry for not posting last week. Click on the fucking bell so you receive all my fucking videos. And the best suggestion, I'll make a video about it. So leave your suggestions down there and I read every single comment and I reply to every single comment. So see you next time, bitches.